Confusion over the name of the alleged middleman in the killing of Percy Lapid slowed down police response in securing the suspect before his death earlier this week. Bucor Chief Gerald Bantag has also been temporarily relieved following the developments at the New Bilibid prison. The Health Department confirms local transmission of the immune-evasive COVID subvariants XBB and XBC. And in weather, Tropical Depression Obit begins to move away from Batanes and may even exit the Philippine area of responsibility today. For now, signal number 1 is up in 2 areas in the extreme northern Luzon. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know to jumpstart your weekend. I'm Riza Diaz. An alleged middleman in Percy Lapid's murder died in Bilibid hours after he was named by the gunman. This after a lack of coordination and 3 different names caused confusion between different government agencies. Brian Castillo with the report.
The Philippine National Police revealed that there were actually 2 people who allegedly served as middlemen in the killing of broadcaster Percy Lapid. One of them was the prisoner inside the New Bilibid prison, who died on October 18, just hours after the supposed gunman Joel Escorial was presented to the media. Confusion arose after authorities claimed earlier that the middleman in Bilibid has already been secured.
Sinecure po natin yan at kaya nga po nagkakaroon po ng autopsy para malaman po kung anong tunay na nangyari dito sa isa.
In a press conference on Friday, Justice Secretary Boy Remulla admitted that a lack of coordination between the DOJ and the PNP might have caused this unfortunate turn of events.
Ang sa akin lang, sayang, if I was informed that we had to secure somebody inside Bilibid, that could have been done very early. Coordination is very important and there was probably a shortcoming there.
Remulla is also blaming discrepancies with the name of the suspected middleman. Crisanto Villamor was the name the authorities got first based on the statement of Escorial. This name was used by the PNP to search for the middleman's whereabouts. But when this information was cross-checked with the carpeta or the list of persons deprived of liberty from the Bilibid, the name Crisanto Villamor was nowhere to be found. But there is one June Garcia Villamor who was imprisoned in the said facility. While based on a court ruling, a certain June Globa Villamor was also incarcerated in Bilibid after being convicted of murder, attempted murder, and violation of the Comelec gun ban. Per verification done by the Bureau of Correction, Remulla says the names Crisanto Villamor, June Garcia Villamor, and June Globa Villamor all refer to one person.
No, we just have to reconcile yung age niya, yung cases niya, sa record niya sa PNP, sa record niya sa BJMP, record niya sa Bucor.
But for the PNP, the name provided by the gunman holds a heavier weight.
Pangalan na sinabi ng gunman ay yun po yung hinahanap pa. So that's still part of the investigation to establish the real identity.
As for the second middleman, the PNP has confirmed that the suspect has been transferred from the BJMP's facility in Taguig to the PNP Custodial Center in Camp Crame. Meanwhile, Bureau of Corrections Director General Gerald Bantag is currently under preventive suspension following the death of one of the middlemen in Bilibid. According to Remulla, this is under President Marcos's order. Former AFP Chief of Staff Gregorio Catapang Jr. will temporarily take Bantag's place.
He asked me to preventively suspend Undersecretary, Director General Gerald Bantag of Bucor, so that there may be a fair, impartial investigation on the matter, so that all doubts will be put to rest that there are no sacred cows in this administration.
For News 5, Brian Castillo, we are One News.
One forensic expert says authorities should have begun the autopsy on one of the middlemen in Percy Lapid's murder the moment he died. Forensic pathologist Dr. Raquel Fortun told the chiefs that an autopsy is part of the standard procedure whenever an inmate dies. This allows authorities to immediately verify an inmate's identity and cause of death and rule out any foul play. However, Fortun believes that the government still has a long way to go in terms of autopsy standards.
I'm not that optimistic. I'm reviewing a lot of cases and I see a lot of lapses. The standards are really so poor in the Philippines.
Meanwhile, Fortun said that she is willing to conduct an independent autopsy on the alleged middleman Crisanto Villamor Jr. But she clarified that only relatives of the deceased can request for one.
All we need actually is a consent. Like the Mabasa family, they're not supposed to be the ones granting the consent for an autopsy, not their relative, okay? So, ang nakikita ko dito, maybe there's an authority out there who would request for it. But I don't see how the Mabasa family can ask for an autopsy of another individual.
The Health Department has confirmed the local transmission of the XBB and XBC subvariants in the country. DOH Epidemiology Bureau Director Dr. Aletea de Guzman explained that the country's new subvariant cases have not been linked to overseas travel. The DOH earlier detected 81 cases of the XBB subvariant and close to 200 cases of the XBC variant. Both variants are believed to evade vaccine immunity more compared to previous Omicron variants.
For XBC, there is initial evidence to support that localized community transmission for regions 11 and 12. No? Dahil madami na tayong na-detect doon at tulad ng XBB sa region 6, mga hindi na to linked to each other. Regardless, again, whether we have declared or not declared community transmission.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Boris Johnson may possibly reprise his role as UK's Prime Minister after Liz Truss announced her resignation. Now, from key cabinet figures to Conservative Party leaders, here are some leading candidates in the running to be the next occupant of 10 Downing Street. Let's watch this.
At the moment, Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak are the two front runners. Heavy caveat there, though. We are pretty sure Rishi Sunak is going to run. We aren't sure yet that Boris Johnson is going to run. He is clearly canvassing support. He's trying to work out whether there is a path to victory for him and whether that is at all plausible. That's the key question, really, over the next 48 hours, over the weekend, really, before the nominations deadline ends on Monday. Then there's Penny Mordaunt is probably the third candidate who does have a realistic chance of getting to that 100 number that gets you on the ballot.
So, Alex, give me a sense, first of all, on Boris Johnson. He needs to get 100 MPs to vote for him. So, do we find out tomorrow who's likely? I mean, what's happening right now? Do the candidates, and no one has put really themselves forward, but do they call MPs to try and muster support to look to see if they have the numbers before we have officially their names?
Yes, exactly. So actually no no candidate has declared yet and said, yes, I'm running for Prime Minister. No one wants to sort of jump the gun and be seen as, been plotting in the background over the last few days of Liz Truss. However, behind the scenes at Westminster, those are the conversations that are going on text message, on phone calls between people like Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak, people around these candidates, their advisors, their MP supporters, ringing around MPs to try to work out whether they realistically can get to that magic 100 number. If they can't, they may not decide to stand. We've already seen a couple of the lower profile candidates, the likes of Grant Shapps, the new Home Secretary. He said that he won't be standing. He was definitely thinking about it. He was having conversations with MPs, and I think it was clear to him that 100 MPs was an unrealistic target for him, and so he's decided not to stand. That's the key question for these candidates right now, and this will all be taking place next 8 hours, 12 hours, 24, 48 hours really until Monday. It's going to be an absolutely extraordinary weekend of horse trading in Westminster.
Tropical depression Obit is moving away from the country. Though as of 4 in the morning, Obit's center is located some 135 kilometers west-southwest of Itbayat, Batanes. It has maximum sustained winds of 45 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 55 kilometers per hour. Obit is moving westward at 15 kilometers per hour and is expected to exit the Philippine area of responsibility later today. Signal number 1 is raised over at Batanes and the Babuyan Islands. However, Obit is not likely to bring heavy rainfall over other portions of the country. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.